Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the future and causes of crime in Canada. So why study Canadian crime? Well, that is to better anticipate any future crime, as well as understand the factors that impact crime over time. In short, our purpose for this exercise is to use past time series data to predict the rate of future crime in Canada, to analyze possible causal factors and their effects on crime over time, and to provide useful applications of the results. A little background information on the data. All data was gathered from CanSim, an online statistical database. It spans over 10 years from 2004 to 2013 and contains the variables you see listed. Our first graph is on past crime. This graph has two parts. The top part shows the total amount of crime incidents per year, and as you can see, the slope is negative, the crime is decreasing. The bottom part shows the percent difference in crime incidents from year to year. And even though the value is kind of bouncing up and down, it's always negative, again indicating that crime is consistently decreasing. Also, the values on average are getting more negative over time, which means crime is decreasing at an increasing rate, or crime is getting lower faster as time goes on. Our next graph is on future crime, and it has two lines. One line is the same as the crime incidents in the past graph, that's the blue line, as scaled by the left y-axis. The orange line represents crime per 100,000 people as scaled by the right y-axis. This graph goes up to 2020. The lines that are kind of grayed out are the estimates, and the cones represent the range of estimation of where the crime values may fall. Our analysis of future crime shows us that crime in Canada is predicted to decrease, so the future of Canada is looking good. We see crime incidents per 100,000 people in 2004 was about 8,400, while in 2020 it is predicted that it will fall to 3,700, which is a nice drop. Some applications of this are with the government. They can budget police activity in prisons accordingly. If they know how much crime to expect, they could take the money that they would spend on police and prisons and put it elsewhere into more useful things such as education. The judicial system can allocate resources such as public defenders, legal aid, and court time for the future better. And statistics can be advertised to ease the population, increase tourism, because everyone will be happier in a crime-free environment. How confident can we be about these predictions? Well, nothing is certain, but our data covers 10 years, and you can see the behavior of crime over those 10 years and can infer it will continue to follow the same pattern. And even if the crime rate followed the upper bounds of the estimate, you would still see a decrease in levels given enough time. Our next graph is a bar graph that forecasts crime per police officer in Canada. It again goes until 2020, with the brackets on the forecast as bars representing the range of estimation in the same way the cones did in the prior graph. Our analysis tells us that crime per police officer has been decreasing and will continue to decrease in the future, which is good for Canada again. Some applications of this are police departments can allocate resources and hire officers based on the predictions. If they know how much crime each police officer is expected to handle, then they could order the proper amount of equipment and give the right amount of training. And these predictions better inform police officers of what they're expected to face, which will lead to safer practices out in the field. The next graph is a set of scatter plots that depict patterns between certain social, economic metrics and crime. These scatter plots have trend lines that show the possible relationships between crime and the variables. These variables from left to right are employer social contributions, household disposable income, and number of police officers. The scatter plots show us that as each of these variables goes up, crime goes down, and this makes sense. It appears that the better Canada's economy is, the less crime there is. And the application of this is that if politicians and CEOs know what reduces crime, then they will make decisions that better reduce crime. To provide some different perspective, the last graph is a heat map where each square represents a year, the size of the square represents the total employee compensation for that year, and the shade of the square represents the amount of crime per 100,000 people. As you can see, as the years go by, the squares get larger and lighter, which means total employee compensation is going up and crime is going down. This reinforces the idea that the better Canada's economy, the less crime it has. Now, just to wrap everything up, overall crime in Canada is going down, and we predict that it will continue to decrease. It appears that policemen in Canada will have lower workloads in the future, and the economy and crime appear to be inversely related. As one goes up, the other goes down. Now, the best way to use the techniques in this presentation would be to narrow the time series data to provinces or cities because crime rates vary so much from place to place. That way you can have policymakers make the most informed decisions for each given locality. These are my resources, and thank you for watching.